There we go. That was for visual aid. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Super Grapple Bros podcast. This is episode 18. We are two brothers who used to work at WWE that, enjoy that thing called wrestling that WWE does. They're known for. And we're on Twitch. We stream on Twitch. So we like to talk about video games as well because we're video games fans as well. The video games and the wrestling. Yes. Wrestling and the video games. I am your host, one of your hosts, as always, Murpho, and I am joined by my bro, DMurph. Also, as always, you were holding that F for a long time.
You mean that PH?
PH.
Yep.
Have I told people that I have a bachelor's degree?
In journalism.
Yeah. Yeah, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Makes it even worse.
Great start, huh?
Yeah, we're off to a great start. For those of you who are listening on the audio or watching on VOD, we went live on Twitch and we did not have audio to start, so I am batting 1,000 this week, just batting 1,000. So let's kick things off as we normally do in wrestling because there's no pay-per-view for us to preview or predict or review this week. We're gonna be predicting SummerSlam next week because we're not going to be able to, again, do a full podcast of the 2 weeks after because we're both going to be on vacation at that time.
That actually reminds me. That thing I mentioned to you I wanted to bring up briefly.
What?
I have just recently gotten a new Twitter account.
Ooh.
And actually, while we are away, I'm going to have some time. He may be able to join, may not sure. But I will actually be free during the trip to watch Takeover Brooklyn 3, and I'll actually be watching it with friend of the show that we've mentioned before, JJ, who's always down at NXT.
Frequent crowd member down at Full Sail, yes. On the camera side.
So he's going to be free, and he lives down there. We're going to be free, so I'm going to be getting together with him, watching.
What is that Twitter account of yours?
I will say it at the end. I'm going to be doing a live tweet of Brooklyn, and the new Twitter account is at DMurph_42.
DMurph_42,
yes.
So be sure to follow him on the Twitter. He will be also sharing whenever I tweet out that stuff is live or whatever, I guess he will retweet it out. So be sure to follow him to get his musings, to get his live tweets on stuff.
Yeah, I've not done anything with this account yet. I just created it not that long ago. I'm going to finally get to start using it now.
Coolio. Again, as we said, over the next week we will be doing a late episode, probably like somewhere between 6 and 7 o'clock at night, I think, because I'll be coming back from my new job that I just got, and we'll be doing Summerslam predictions. And then we will be gone for the next 2 weeks. We're gonna try and do some IR. We may try to do an IRL stream or two, maybe as new matches get announced, or maybe like right before SummerSlam happens or right after SummerSlam happens, to try and maybe do some last minute predictions, or maybe like just some thoughts so you guys get those right away, quick, maybe like 10, 15, 20 minute, or maybe even like a half an hour at most.
Maybe if we're stuck on lines or something, we could just BS with people.
Yes. So we'll be doing that stuff. It'll definitely be on Twitch. I might be able to clip it over onto YouTube, and I might be able to record an audio version to just upload to SoundCloud, but they won't be official Super Grapple Bros episodes. We'll maybe just call it a Super Grapple Bro bonus or extra episode or video or whatever. Super Grapple Bro dark match. Pre-show?
Dark clip?
Nah.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll maybe extra or whatever.
We'll work it.
I'm stupid with the tip. Thank you, saying that hat is brutal. It's my Rangers hat. I like my Rangers hat. I got it at Madison Square Garden. I'm wearing it because I literally just took a shower right before we started shooting. The benefits of having your own podcast in your own home. I literally just went and showered because I did 5 miles on the elliptical at 5 o'clock this morning. At like 5. I think it was like actually around like 5:30. Around like 5:36 this morning.
Fun.
So I was sticky and I needed to shower before we went live. And I had everything set up before. I had to do all my setup before we went live. So anyway, we've been rambling on for a little bit. Mostly I've been rambling on. Let's get into the wrestling discussion. Let's start off with Monday Night Raw. kicked off with Angle coming out and talking about how we got a great episode of Raw because Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, and Roman Reigns will be facing off against each other.
Also mentioned that he, once again, has a son and that they were in his home city of Pittsburgh.
Mentioned that Jason Jordan was going to be on Miz TV. Then he was interrupted by Brock Lesnar. And Paul Heyman, he was there too.
Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Paul Heyman, and he is the advocate for the reigning, defending, undisputed Universal Champion.
Goo 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 choo. So they came down, and Heyman, of course, did all the talking while Bork just stood there being intimidating.
Bork laser.
Bork is angry. Bork stand intimidating. You do as Bork say.
Bork like red leather. Don't take red leather from Bork.
So Heyman basically said, how dare you put the Beast up against 3 opponents? And basically, I think he basically was complaining.
He was accusing Angle of having to listen to the board, who apparently he says does not want Lesnar to hold the title, and is accusing him of doing this to please his bosses and do his best to get the Beast to lose his title.
And he said that if Brock Lesnar loses the championship at SummerSlam, that Brock Lesnar will leave WWE.
So in other words, they don't want to pay him for a few months.
We don't know whether or not Lesnar is going to leave after SummerSlam. His contract doesn't run out until after WrestleMania 34 is the one we're coming up to now.
Yeah.
So we don't know if this is serious or if it's just he'll lose and then leave WWE, and then maybe his whoever SummerSlam opponent is will maybe come and call him out and he'll return just for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So we don't know. So it's going to be interesting. It adds an extra little element, a little bit of nugget where people were like, well, surely Lesnar will lose. Now you're kind of like, but Lesnar's contract isn't up. Is he really going to leave? Is he going to win the title? So it adds a little bit more uncertainty to the match, which is nice. I like it.
I kind of think that, if anything, it's making it seem more likely that he'll lose the title, just because there have been rumors going around that he may be going back to the UFC for a match. Granted,
against John Jones.
Yeah. Reports have come out saying that that he's still got 5 months left on his suspension for failing the drug test, and he hasn't even signed up to take another one, so it looks like it's not going to happen, but it could still potentially happen.
I think they're using the whole John Jones thing to stir up uncertainty that he might leave and go back to UFC. But like you said, with his suspension and the fact that the contract isn't up until after WrestleMania, do I think he'll return to UFC to fight John Jones? Probably. Or just fight in general. But it probably won't happen until after his contract with WWE is up.
Well, I mean, he's done it well under contract with WWE. He fought, what's his name, a year ago?
True, but his suspension won't be up. And I don't know if they want him to... Are you sure the UFC 200 happened while he was under contract?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, because WWE made a big deal about it because they announced around the time of it that his opponent at SummerSlam was going to be Randy Orton.
But he didn't have the Universal Championship on him at the time.
No, he didn't have the title on him, but he did do it well.
And that was also
WWE.
That also happened in the summer, which was I believe UFC 200 was July of 2 years ago,
June or July, something like that.
And I think the reason why WWE was so okay with it was that any injuries that Lesnar would have suffered by then, he would have had plenty of time to recover by WrestleMania. If he faces John Jones with all the amount of press they want to do, they probably wouldn't do it until the winter. And that's too close to WrestleMania.
Well, their word has it that they may be trying to do it in the fall still. I don't know how that'd work. But I mean, that could give him a few months still to heal up, but who knows?
But his suspension isn't up too still, apparently. So I think this is just something to either put doubt in the fact that Lesnar's going to lose, and or given a reason for Lesnar to be gone until probably around
WrestleMania or Royal Rumble,
Survivor Series or Royal Rumble, probably a Royal Rumble, or just before, so that way he can do stuff at WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So that was all good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you go ahead and take over from here, since I'll be handling Smackdown.
Yeah. After that, they had the Hardys versus Gallows and Anderson with the Revival on commentary, which I thoroughly enjoyed because the entirety of it was them talking about how the Hardys are legends, and Gallows and Anderson went around the world winning all kinds of champions and stuff, and who's beaten them and who's undefeated so far in WWE? The Revival. And going on about how they should probably deserve the next title shot. The match was pretty decent. There were a few slip-ups here and there. It looked like nothing that big. It was a pretty cut and dry match, and after the match, the Hardys went to get in the face of the Revival, and the Hardys brawled with not only the Revival, but also Gallows and Anderson, in something that I thought was more entertaining than the match itself.
Yeah, and I think what's going to happen is we're going to see a triple threat tag match, tag number one contenders match at SummerSlam between those three teams. Probably, maybe on the pre-show. It'll probably be a pre-show match, I think.
Probably,
because based on what's going on,
card, but
well, yeah,
prefer and what'll actually happen,
yeah. Based on what's happening also in the Raw tag division, it doesn't seem like we're gonna get a number one contender out of those three teams by SummerSlam. It looks like they have another teams set up to make a run at Sheamus and Cesaro for the titles,
which we'll get to that later on in the night.
Mm-hmm.
After the whole thing with the Hardys, Gallows and Anderson, and the Revival, we had a 6-man tag match. We had Rich Swann, Cedric Alexander, and Akira Tozawa, accompanied by Titus O'Neil, face off against Tony Nese, Arya Daivari, and TJP.
It's nice to see Daivari and TJP and Rich Swann on TV because it's been a while.
Yeah, big fan of them. Apparently, they've got a feud going on between the two of them over on 205 Live, where TJP is trying to prove that he is better than Rich Swann. And Rich Swann has also been tagging with Cedric Alexander a lot. I'm glad to see all of them on TV, except maybe Daivari. I mean, he's good, but he's not that charismatic.
I don't like Arya Daivari at all.
I like his in-ring work. He is good in the ring.
He doesn't have a good character or personality.
Yeah, exactly.
His character.
So I like his in-ring work, but other than that, nah. Everyone else in the match, I thoroughly enjoyed, though. I love Tony Nese. I've loved him since we saw him at HOH. He is so good. But yeah, the match was good. It ended with, if I remember correctly, Rich hitting TJP with the Rich kick, and then Tozawa hitting his cannonball off the top rope and pinning him.
Tozawa did a good job of selling his arm, which was good.
Yep.
And Titus was in there.
In which, a brief thing I'll mention, because we don't really go over 205 Live, and this is a good point to put it in, just so everyone knows. On 205 Live, they had Tozawa versus Daivari, in which whoever won would be the number one contender to face Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship at SummerSlam, and Tozawa won. So at SummerSlam, we will get Neville defending his Cruiserweight Championship against Akira Tozawa.
Okay. Big Stupid says that flip spot Swann and Alexander did was insane. I can't remember that.
Oh, yeah. Rich Swann did like a Phoenix splash off the turnbuckle to the outside of the ring, while Cedric Alexander dove over the top rope on the outside of the ring onto, I think it was Nese and Daivari.
Damn.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
Pretty nice. It was the kind of thing where it happened so quick you may have missed it, but it was very nice. But yeah, it was a decent enough match. I enjoyed it. I'm excited to see Neville versus Tozawa. I kind of wish it was Neville versus someone else, just because they just did Neville versus Tozawa, and I feel like they could do more stuff involving the Titus brand. Especially, we haven't seen Apollo Crews in a few weeks now. I'd like to see him get back up in the mix and see them all kind of working together as a team.
I'm sorry, who?
Apollo Crews.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You see what I did there?
Apollo Creed.
Xavier Woods, where?
But
I'm sorry, that's Austin Creed.
Yeah. But yeah, after that we had Miz TV with Jason Jordan, and it looks like we know what the Intercontinental title match is going to be at SummerSlam.
Jason Jordan versus Miz, which I am behind.
Yeah. I'm glad to see them doing something with Jason Jordan.
I saw a lot of people hating on Jason Jordan for this promo, which, yeah, it wasn't the greatest. It showed that Jason Jordan really isn't that. There are two things that this promo showed. The beginning, it showed that Jason Jordan is kind of boring when he's talking, when he's trying to be a humble face. But it ended strong because it showed that when push comes to shove, Jordan gets intense. And when he shows his intensity, one of his daddy's three eyes, he just oozes charisma and energy.
That's one other thing I like, though, because it also showed in that promo second of the eye, his integrity, because he refused to join up with The Miz to get an advantage of doing all the cheap stuff and having people help him to get what he wants, and says that he wants to do everything on his own. So it showed his intensity and his integrity. And I'd even argue possibly his intelligence, because he took out 3 guys with 1 suplex.
Yeah, with
he
one
literally
belly.
gave Miz a belly-to-belly onto Axel and Dallas. And I loved it.
Mm-hmm. So, I think it'll be good. I think Jason Jordan's going to win that match. And I think we're going to get ourselves a new Intercontinental Champion, because I think they want to, because that would, I feel like Miz, at this point, he's been so good for the last year, he doesn't need the Intercontinental Championship. It's nice to have, but he doesn't necessarily need it. And Jordan has got the push rocket just attached to his back.
Yeah.
And if you have him lose here, I feel like it really deflates everything you've got building for him.
I'm kind of hoping that Miz loses the title, gets a rematch, somehow still loses, but keeps the Miz Taraj together and keeps going, and maybe does something like help the Miz Taraj go for the tag titles while himself trying to get himself involved in the Universal title picture or something like that. Because Miz is really hot right now. He's doing really good, and I think
I really gotta remember to turn that goddamn phone off whenever somebody calls the house, whenever we shoot this podcast.
Yeah. But I have high hopes for it, and I hope they do good for all the parties involved, because all of them are doing really good right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we had Seth Rollins versus Sheamus, which started off because there was a little bit of a incident in the beginning of the night between Seth and Ambrose, which then led to a conversation between Seth with Cesaro and Sheamus, and he challenged him to a match. It was a good match, pretty hard hitting. Seth ended up picking up the win. Cesaro and Sheamus started beating down on Seth. No Ambrose come out. They go to leave. They see Rollins going to pick himself back up. They go back in to attack him. Ambrose comes out to make the save. They beat him down. They leave them both beaten down. And it looks like we'll probably be getting Cesaro and Sheamus defending the tag titles against Rollins and Ambrose.
Which is kind of good. I kind of like it because, I mean, like, Ambrose's thing was, I don't trust you, but he made the save anyway. I mean, his defense in a promo later was basically like, I would have looked like a jerk. I would have looked like a dick if I didn't come out and save you. Yeah. So I did it because it was the right thing, not because I trust you.
Yeah.
Which I guess is okay. But it'll be interesting. I think there's legs in taking... I don't know if... I think we might get something where I think we're going to see Rollins and Ambrose beat Sheamus and Cesaro for the tag titles. This is going to go 2 ways. Either Sheamus and Cesaro are going to lose the tag titles to Ambrose and Rollins. We're going to get an uneasy alliance type tag title reign with perhaps the Revival becoming the number 1 contenders. And so you've got the hungry, undefeated young tag team going up against these 2 guys who don't quite get along because they're bad history.
Yeah, they have a bad history, but they work well together.
Or Dean turns heel on Seth. They lose the tag title match to Cesaro and Sheamus, and the Hardy Boys complete their redemption by winning the number 1 contendership. And then we get a final Cesaro-Sheamus title match.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to see Cesaro and Sheamus hold those titles because they are just so good right now. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind seeing...
They are the bar.
And one thing I would love to see, I don't know if they'd even consider doing it before SummerSlam, probably not, but say Seth and Dean do happen to win the tag titles, I would love to see something happen. Like, this week on Raw, we've got an amazing main event. We've got the WWE Tag Team Champions, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, teaming up with their old partner, Roman Reigns, to take on their challengers of Cesaro and Sheamus, as well as either current Universal Champion or person chasing the title, whatever, either Braun Strowman or Samoa Joe, and we get to see a brief little Shield reunion just for the heck of it. Not like a full-blown they're getting together, but let's do what we've done in the past.
I could totally see Monday Night Raw that happen, a Shield reunion, not they don't actually reunion, but they announce it as a Shield reunion, where you've got Ambrose and Rollins, the Raw tag champs, teaming up with the Universal Champion Roman Reigns to battle, say, the Revival and Braun Strowman, or the Revival and Samoa Joe,
something like that. Yeah.
And then maybe you tease Roman joining up with Ambrose and Rollins. Maybe the Shield potentially reforms. Honestly, if you really want to make Roman not look like a dick and actually turn him face, I think the best way you could actually, and keep him face, I think the best way you could actually do that is have him join back up with the Shield.
Yeah, and you
have
don't
a
even
Shield reunion where they all have the championships.
yeah, and you don't even have to have it be like a long lasting thing. And if you want to make it like a kind of like thing where they're not joining and working together all the time, but they're on good terms and they're willing to. You need some help.
They're
Sure, why
the
not?
Shield again, where they're not coming out as a Shield all the time, but they're friends and allies, and they'll come out and help each other, kind of thing. So who knows?
Yeah, and they could even
They
do
go in
something
a lot of different directions.
Roman being the first one to forgive Seth and being like, Dean, he hit me with the chair first, man, because Dean still trusts Roman.
Yeah,
they're still good buds. So it could work something like that, but
unless Roman's just gone full dick and is just like, yeah, I don't care.
True. I have a feeling he wouldn't be that much of a dick, though, if he was Universal Champion and his old buddies were tag champs. But anyway, let's move on. After that, we had a promo by Bray Wyatt in which Finn Balor then came out and attacked him, and it did what it needed to do to continue the storyline.
We had that red light flicker, and it looks like, and I mean, we're getting what we're expecting there, which is gonna be Demon King Balor versus Bray Wyatt. And they showed that Balor might have some sort of boogity magic as well, because maybe he channeled the Demon King a little bit. Whenever he channels the Demon King, he gets boogity. So we'll get Wyatt boogity versus Balor boogity. And if you can't tell, I just like saying boogity.
Yes, I can tell.
So we'll see.
The main thing I hope out of this is that it's a good match. I hope they give them the time and they get to tear the house down.
Wyatt isn't winning this match, so you just hope that Wyatt looks strong.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see them both put on a good match. Both of them look strong. That's all I care about out of this match right now.
But yeah, that was a good segment. Did its thing.
After that, we had Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe versus Braun Strowman in a triple threat match.
And why was this match not the main event?
Exactly my thoughts.
Great match.
Yeah.
Awesome match. And Roman won, and it was a reasonably good win.
Yeah.
Like, just why wasn't this the main event? Especially when we get to the main event and we talk about what it was. Yeah. Like,
I'm gonna be honest here.
Bad placement of your matches.
I actually, due to time restraints, didn't get to make it to the end of Raw. This was the last match I saw of Raw, so this was the main event for me.
Well,
but it should have been the main event of the show.
Yeah.
After that, apparently we had a match between Elias Samson and Kalisto.
And hey, there's Kalisto. Oh, there goes Kalisto. Yeah. Kalisto showed up to get squashed, not really squashed, but beat up by Elias Samson, which who is now known as Elias. They've dropped his last name.
So he's getting the Big E Langston.
Hi, I'm Elias. Yeah, soon he's just gonna be E, and then him and Big E are gonna team up to be Little E and Big E, or the E's, or Double E.
There you go.
They'll be WE.
God. Although I really wish they did that storyline I thought of a while ago of have Elias Samson be a drifter just trying to find his family and have him be Luke Harper's long lost younger brother.
Oh, God. So yeah, that was a thing. I mean, I just feel it did what it needed to do for Elias Samson. I still want to call him Elias Samson because I hate the fact they dropped his last name.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that big stupid. I don't know why they set that triple threat match on so early. I don't know why. We'll never know. But back to this match. I just feel bad for Kalisto.
Yeah,
I like Kalisto.
Kalisto's great.
Kalisto's great in the ring.
He's
a good dude, and yeah, he can talk. I'm just thinking like maybe he did something wrong, or they hated his United States title reign, and rivalry with Ryback so bad. And I would say that's more Ryback's fault than Kalisto's.
Yeah, and it wasn't even that bad.
No.
They had decent matches. The storyline was not great, but they did a good job of what they had.
They've just treated him like he's like cannon fodder for guys they want to push up in the card for a while now.
They did a decent job with him with Strowman, but other than that...
But then they dropped him. They haven't done anything with him since. Like, I don't know. Then we had Bayley versus Nia Jax, and it looks
We don't mean you, big stupid.
And it looks like Nia hurt Bayley's shoulder.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about the extent of the injury, but apparently her going to SummerSlam is questionable, which would be unfortunate for her, but would also potentially build on the story of her and Sasha, if you think about it, because then they could do Sasha versus Alexa, and that could build to it of, you know what, I beat you. I was supposed to get that match, and I got injured. My moment was stolen.
Yeah. I didn't hear any post reports, but I did watch the match, and it did seem like it was legit.
Yeah, I saw
like,
a little
it didn't
video.
look like either Bayley is really, really good at selling an injured shoulder, or it's legit.
She's actually injured. They just don't know the extent of it yet.
Yeah.
Like, they showed a video of her in the medical room trying to lift her arms, and she couldn't lift her right arm that much.
Was that an actual, like,
yeah,
her in
she
the
was
medical room, not a promo of her in the medical room?
She is actually injured. They're doing an x-ray on her to find out the extent of the damage, because she is legitimately injured, and they legitimately do not know if she'll be able to make SummerSlam or not.
I just hope that if she does get hurt, it doesn't hurt her until SummerSlam or until WrestleMania, because they can still pull the trigger on Bayley Sasha if say like they put Sasha into battle Alexa, Sasha wins the title, maybe she turns heel, or maybe she's battling for the title and like maybe she finally wins it around the time Bayley comes back to congratulate her, and then Sasha just turns on Bayley and she turns heel there. So it can still work. I feel bad for Bayley, especially since they were just finally starting to give her momentum.
Exactly, and then this has
and
to
doing
happen.
right by her, and then she gets a shoulder injury. So I'm hoping it's nothing serious. And if it is, I hope she's back before before WrestleMania, because I can still make a program with her and Sasha work.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we had our big main event, our big, giant, 7-foot-tall main event that was amazing. And move over, Roman, Joe, and Braun. We need to get this match on last.
And you know why? Because you can't teach the writers how to book a card properly. I think that went a little long, but I think my point got across.
That was long and that was mean. But we had Big Cass versus the Big Show. And, like, I'm literally scratching my head as I think of this, because it's like, you know, okay, Big Cass versus Big Show. It's a decent angle. It's a good angle. Should they wrestle each other at SummerSlam? Yes. But that should be the only time they wrestle each other, because Big Show, granted, Big Show actually did well in this match, even though it still wasn't a great match.
He's getting up there, though.
Or a very good match. But yeah, like, he's getting up there in age. We only need to see it once. It only really needs to happen once. And it really is a main event material. Like, if this was in the middle, say this was in the middle of the show, it would have been probably perfect. Perfect middle of the show match.
Exactly.
But when you're the main event and you just had that triple threat earlier on the night between Roman, Braun, and Joe,
it's a booking mistake.
It looks like an awful decision.
Yeah. It was an issue on the part of booking. They should have booked the show better.
Yeah. And the way the match ended is that Cass basically started to dominate Show. Looks like he was about to finish him off, and Enzo jumps in and causes a disqualification, which, why am I cheering Enzo now? Like, Enzo gets his ass beat left and right, gets Big Show to help him, and then Cass is about to win a match fair and square against the Big Show, and Enzo causes a DQ and jumps in to fight.
Because Cass is a big mean jerk, and Enzo's trying to beat up a big mean jerk, even though he always gets his butt kicked.
I guess, but it's like, just seeing that, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of maybe hurt the rivalry. It sets up for the actual SummerSlam match, because there was no finish to that match, and Cass did end up standing tall because he just obliterated. I will say, I think my favorite part of this rivalry is just watching Enzo consistently bump and sell and get obliterated by Cass's big boot, because every time he takes it, it looks like he dies.
Yeah.
We'll get Cass versus Show, I'm sure, at SummerSlam, but I'm like, did we really need to do this in the first place? And if we did, that's fine, but it's a match where it's like, that should be in the middle of the show.
Yeah,
that shouldn't be at the end of the night. That shouldn't be how fans go home.
Yeah, especially when you have that triple threat match earlier in the night.
Yeah.
You're just setting yourself up to have a terrible end of the night.
Yeah. And so with a whimper, out goes Raw for the week. And then we go to SmackDown Live, which might be one of the best SmackDown Live episodes of the year.
Yeah, that's
actually.
what I've been hearing, yeah.
It was really good. It started off with the United States Championship rematch with AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens, which I think they did the finish that they were supposed to do at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Where the referee took a bump, and I guess the referee at Battleground was supposed to be selling his eye, which I guess was why he was going.
Yeah, and
But Mike Chioda, who I guess knows how to sell an eye better, held the eye to because blinking just makes you think that maybe you're dazed. Maybe if you do this and then look, and then you're like holding your eye, rubbing your eyes, and like holding it in pain.
Yeah.
And then AJ pinned Owens. Owens got the shoulder up at 1, and Chioda counted the 3. And I think that's what the ending was supposed to be now for Battleground, where the referee was supposed to count the 3. AJ got his shoulder up, which it looked like he got his shoulder up, but he counts the 3 anyway. I think the problem with that was the ref didn't do a good enough job of selling that his eye was messed up, and AJ didn't complain enough at Battleground, and they didn't make a point of it. That's why it kind of makes me feel like it might have been an actual mess up.
Yeah.
But I feel like what happened on SmackDown Live was what was supposed to happen, except they flipped Owens and Styles. And then they had a great... God, did Kevin Owens have a great promo after that.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, yeah.
Good God. They're in the back, Daniel Bryan and Shane talking to Chioda about how his eye is, and Owens comes storming into the back being like, that's bullcrap, that is bullcrap, I can't believe this, are you kidding me, are you trying to screw me over? Like, just fuming mad, and he had the right to be fuming mad.
He got screwed over.
And Shane is trying to tell him, calm down, relax, calm down. And he refuses to calm down, and he's like, he demands a rematch, and Shane's like, okay, you'll get your rematch at SummerSlam. And he's like, well, what? I can't even trust the refs. The refs can't even make the right decision. What am I gonna do? Like, this is bullcrap. I don't trust any ref you'll put in there. And then Daniel Bryan's like, I know a ref who's pretty good. Shane's a ref. Yeah. Shane used to be a ref. Shane can be the ref. So we got AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens, which will surely be the big blow-off to their rivalry for the United States Championship, with Shane McMahon as a special guest referee. And one little side note I'd like to put onto this. This kind of almost makes me want to see a Kevin Owens Shane McMahon WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
Or a match in general.
Might be building up to that. Maybe it's Survivor Series.
Might be a tease. Well, Survivor Series, the thing why I think it might be like a tease towards WrestleMania is that maybe we have Owens will be one of the members of maybe they'll probably do Team Raw versus Team SmackDown at Survivor Series. Owens might be one of the members of Team Survivor Series. Maybe Shane gets himself involved as well. I don't think he should, but maybe he will.
Yeah, like last year.
And then maybe Owens takes exception to the fact that maybe AJ won and maybe there was a refereeing thing, and he sees his opportunity, beats the crap out of Shane, or he loses the match for SmackDown deliberately or something like that to spite Shane. And then you have tensions brewing until Royal Rumble, and then they go to heads and they finally clash at WrestleMania, which I mean, I would love to see Kevin Owens in a title match, but based on what Shane did with AJ last year, I could be very down for a Kevin Owens Shane McMahon match, and I would actually really like it.
I agree.
I'd be into it.
I'm a fan of anything involving Kevin Owens on screen and anything involving Shane McMahon on the screen. So
yes. Then we had the Usos come out in a promo, even though they came out as they did the Pittsburgh, and they imitated Big E's voice almost perfectly, and then they came out and they're like, oh, New Day ain't here, that was us, you see, we beat them up so bad that they're not here this week. And then they just ran their mouths, of course, really good in heel fashion, about how they were going to beat up New Day and retake their titles. Now everybody's in the Uso penitentiary, and it was a very good promo to further the rivalry.
Can I make a quick SummerSlam prediction right now?
What's that?
This has a potential. I think this might be possibly match of the night. I mean,
really
they've got tough competition,
really...
but it's going to be one of the best matches of the night. Not necessarily the best, but them and the Usos and the New Day, I think they're going to put on one of the best matches of the night.
But one of the best matches, definitely. Best match, I don't know, when you've got Lesnar, Strowman, Joe, Roman.
I'm saying it has potential. I don't think it's going to beat them, but it wouldn't be the most surprising thing if that wasn't the match of the night, that this would be.
Yeah.
Because these teams are just so hot. They work so well together. I could see it.
Definitely.
Especially after the match at Battleground.
And then we had probably what was the weirdest and most upsetting part of SmackDown. Probably the one negative that you could take from the show. Aiden English and Sami Zayn went one-on-one, and Aiden English rolled up Sami Zayn, surprised him, and won.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm good for Aiden English.
Like, I guess they're trying to invest in Aiden English and not keep him buried forever like Raw's doing with Kalisto.
Yeah, I mean, he's good.
And giving him, because they've given him victory over Ty Dillinger now, and now Sami Zayn. But I'm kind of like, why? But I want Ty Dillinger over Aiden English. If we're gonna give people wins, give them to Ty.
Yeah, but that would have been then
Ty
versus
they kind of
Sami,
did it as a thing to where it was just a mere like leverage, unpredictable pin that Sami didn't see coming, and just caught Sami off guard. So I guess that's okay. And then afterwards, Mike and Maria Kanellis came out and like laughed at Sami for losing.
And
so
I have a feeling this might be building to a pre-show tag team match. Probably
because as much as I would love to see Sami and Ty Dillinger on the main roster or on the main card of the show, with everything that's going to be going on at SummerSlam, I don't see where a Ty Dillinger versus Aiden English match, which was already on the pre-show of a SmackDown only event, and a Mike Kanellis versus Sami Zayn match gets onto the main card of SummerSlam.
So we're probably going to be doing Ty and Sami versus Mike and Aiden on the pre-show.
Yeah. Then we got a tag match of Naomi and Becky Lynch versus Carmella and Natalya, which was cool. Naomi, I guess, is looking to be like almost like a John Cena of the women's division, because she just does not tap out to submission maneuvers. She took Natalya's sharpshooter and then Carmella's submission and was able to reach the ropes on both. Then she was able to get Carmella in her version of the Rings of Saturn, and Carmella tapped out and they won. It was a good match. Nothing too spectacular, nothing bad. It was just good. Middle of the road kind of thing. Then we moved on to what was probably the best match of the night, actually. Rusev versus Chad Gable.
Yeah, just those two in general. They could put on the match of the night easily.
They friggin' tore the place down. And I'm intrigued. I'm thinking that we might get an American Alpha rivalry around the Intercontinental Championship sometime soon, because Chad Gable did the ankle lock and Angle's moonsault in the match. So like, Jason Jordan's his son, but Chad Gable's like doing all of Kurt Angle's moves and is a former Olympian. So you're like, maybe it's something to where like maybe Chad Gable is really his son and maybe Jason Jordan is lying or something.
Who knows? I know a lot of people were hoping when they first said that they were going to be bringing Kurt Angle back. A lot of people were hoping that they were going to pair him up with American Alpha together and be like a mentor to them.
So it's something that turned my head and I'm like, are they thinking of doing something like that? Because it's like because sometimes they'll tease stuff like that, or they're just not thinking, and instead of giving Angle's moves to Jordan, they're giving them to Chad Gable, which makes, in that case, it doesn't really make much sense at all.
One thing I do want to point out though that is tied to this match, Big Stupid saying that they've mishandled Rusev so poorly. One thing I want to point out is they've mishandled him in the past up until they brought him back. And if you think about it, they brought him back and he had a pay-per-view match against John Cena. And now they're going to have him in a pay-per-view match against Randy Orton, which might not be the most entertaining match. But at the same time...
You're getting ahead of yourself. We didn't talk about that.
True. But, I mean, they're doing pretty good with Rusev right now.
No,
he just had an amazing
Rusev's
match
been handling
with
just
Gable.
fine. Like, you put Rusev against John Cena. Granted, it was a crappy flag match, which, as we finish up the show, we find out really amounted to nothing. And I say crappy flag match in the terms of like Rusev and Cena probably one of the like as good a flag match as they could, given the fact that it was a flag match.
Mm-hmm.
But like you're putting Rusev in a program with John Cena, and then after the match he had with Gable, he asks for a SummerSlam challenger, and he's answered by Randy Orton.
Yeah.
You can't say he's being handled poorly when he's going up against John Cena and then Randy Orton.
Yeah, he faced a 15-time WWE World Champion, and now he's going to be facing a 13-time WWE World Champion.
Yeah. So it's like I don't think they're mishandling him. Is he going to win this rivalry? Probably not.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's in there with those guys means he's got a good strong placement.
Yeah, he's facing two pay-per-views in a row, facing first ballot Hall of Famers, no doubt.
So I think he's being fine. Just because he's not getting put in there with the WWE Championship right away doesn't mean they're mishandling him. I think he probably will eventually go for maybe the United States Championship again or the WWE Championship. I feel like a WWE Championship run is in Rusev's future, and I just think right now with what they're trying to do, I think it might be a little too crowded based on who's on the SmackDown roster, but I think it's going to happen eventually. I just think patience is what's needed. And then Big Stupid, you think that Chad Gable is going to cost Jason Jordan the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam? I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger that early on an American Alpha controversy thing.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think they might do something to where Jordan wins, and then Jordan continues to successfully defend the Intercontinental Championship, defend, and then maybe then Gable like goes up against him and maybe like reveals like, oh, you are not really the son of Kurt Angle. I'm really the son of Kurt Angle. You've been scamming Kurt this entire time. And
I don't know about that, but I could easily see them doing a storyline like you had mentioned last week that there was rumor that they might do another Superstar Shakeup after SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
Superstar Shakeup after SummerSlam. Chad Gable moves over to Raw and then just starts a promo with Jason Jordan being like, I'm so glad you got the title, blah, 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 and starts working with him, and things get messed up, and it just builds tensions between the two of them that one of them has a singles championship and the other doesn't, turns Gable heel.
But then what's Gable's Gable, I think, is the better face. Jordan would make the better heel because Jordan's got that intensity and that anger that makes good heels or good like fired up, intense faces like Kurt Angle was. Gable, I think, is the better face because he's the better in-ring competitor and he's got better charisma and he's got a better sense of humor. He's funnier. He can be more entertaining as a face. He can have more fun.
That's one thing that Angle himself has pointed out is when you're a heel, it's easier to be funnier because you could get egg on your face and people will laugh and it still fits with the character.
I don't know. I feel like Jordan fits the mold better as a heel between the two of them. Not that Gable can't be a good heel. I just feel like why would Gable be using Angle's moves if it wasn't an homage to Angle and a hint that maybe he's actually the real son of Jason Jordan and this is all just really weird. And that maybe Gable told Jason Jordan in secret or in confidence or something, and then maybe Jordan just decided that he wanted to be Angle's son and told Angle, maybe blackmailed Angle, maybe like faked some blood tests, maybe swapped out some of Gable's blood with his, something like that. That has legs there, I think.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just kind of I don't see any kind of angle where they do something like that and Gable isn't the heel anyway.
Well, no, because if Jordan wins the title and then Angle's so proud of him and Jordan's like winning all these matches and Angle's so proud of him and then Gable comes out and says, no, he's been scamming you the entire time.
Yeah.
And it's like, then Jordan comes out and says, he denies it, but then is like, yeah, that's right. I scammed it. I wanted a better shot. So I saw an opportunity and I saw that Chad was your son. So I saw an opportunity to better myself and further myself and put myself in a better position. So I called myself your son, the acting general manager, so that way I could get what I felt I deserved, which was a shot at championship gold.
True.
And
I feel like I feel like the angle that they probably will go with is the fact that, Jason Jordan moved to Raw and got all the success, and Chad Gable was left alone on SmackDown and has just been suffering loss after loss. Good matches, but he hasn't been able to pick up anything and him being jealous or whatever. But anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, then we had the main event, which was Shinsuke Nakamura versus John Cena. Winner would face Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship.
Provided they don't go to jail for accidental attempted murder.
Yeah, because Nakamura did almost murder John Cena. Which I think was also partially Cena's fault. But Nakamura won.
Yeah.
To everyone's shock and surprise, because I thought for sure they were going to pull the trigger on Cena and do Cena versus Jinder. Because, it's big match India. John. USA versus India. Cena's been on this big kick of in India and all that, or America and all that stuff. He had the program and the flag match with Rusev, which we thought. So, part of me thinks, did they just call an audible just to be contrarian or just to swerve people? Or did they actually originally plan this the whole time? And I think they're just booking Cena weird.
It's possibly because of two things. One, news about John Cena recently, he signed on for another movie for the Transformers spinoff, Bumblebee, which he'll be doing with, I believe they said, both, what's his name, Mark
Wahlberg?
Yeah, that one. Mark Wahlberg and Megan Fox might be coming to it. So that happened. That may have something to do with it. Or, as I'm thinking, another prediction I have for SummerSlam, person walking out with the WWE title at the end of the night, Baron Corbin, because he's got a program going on with Shinsuke, and he has the briefcase.
Yeah, Shinsuke, he is not losing this match, period. The only way this match is ending without him having the title is if Khali or the Singh brothers get involved, and it's either a disqualification or a count out. He is not going to get... I do not see him getting pinned or submitted. I do not see his first loss being to Jinder Mahal because, A, Shinsuke is a much better competitor, has been getting pushed harder, and B, there will be a riot in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
there will be a riot in Brooklyn if Jinder Mahal defeats Nakamura, dirty or clean.
Yeah.
However, like you said, Shinsuke wins. Maybe Khali, the Singh brothers, and Jinder go ape crap on him afterwards. Or Baron Corbin cashes in, or just Corbin comes up from behind him while he's celebrating, hits him in the back of the head with the Money in the Bank.
Seconds after he wins, he's standing there holding the title, and then he gets hit with the briefcase, beaten down.
Yeah, and then Corbin comes in, cashes in, wins the title. Shinsuke gets his first loss on a huge technicality because he got ambushed after having a big title match and beaten to hell and basically stolen from him via Money in the Bank. And then Corbin gets a ton of heat. Corbin gets his first championship, and then you just continue that program that Nakamura and Corbin have had for the title, in which Nakamura should come out on top.
Yeah.
And when that rivalry's over, Nakamura will have a championship.
Yeah.
We'll have the WWE Championship. And Big Stupid says, wouldn't that cause a riot also? I say no, because people are more
Corbin.
Yeah, people are more behind. Well, people are more behind Baron Corbin because he's put in his dues the last year and improved a lot. People don't despise Baron Corbin like they did, say, when he was in NXT. People don't mind him. Like people haven't rioted over the fact that he beat Sami Zayn.
Yeah, exactly.
So, he's a heel, but he's a good heel. Plus, it's good storytelling. Fans in Brooklyn, they're smart marks. If it's somebody who makes sense and is actually decent at wrestling and has sort of the complete package, then they're okay with it.
Yeah.
The problem is that Jinder Mahal is somebody who up until 6 months ago has not had a really good match, has never been anywhere near the main event. And just went from being a complete jobber with no build to immediately in the title picture and winning the championship.
Yeah.
So you've got somebody like that going against Shinsuke Nakamura, somebody who's put in his hard work, paid his dues. I mean, not that Jinder hasn't paid his dues in WWE, but Shinsuke rose up the card. He's a world-renowned talent. With Baron, he put in his time in NXT. He worked his way up. He's had good matches and good programs with the likes of Sami Zayn, with Shinsuke already. There's money in that rivalry. We can tell that there's chemistry between those two. Even if their Battleground match wasn't that great, their match on SmackDown afterwards was good. And the stuff they've done storyline-wise since Money in the Bank has been good.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's going to cause a rivalry because there's a story there already, and fans will see it happening and be like, as long as, I believe most fans in Brooklyn, New York fans, because we are from New York and we are fans of WWE, will say, so long as Shinsuke comes out of this rivalry with the championship in hand and like wins the next month and then Corbin loses the rematch, we're okay with it. Corbin gets his first title. Shinsuke gets his first loss on a technicality. It's
and
fine.
Shinsuke gets title.
Yeah.
But anyway, that does it for SmackDown, doesn't it?
Yeah, that does it for SmackDown for the most part. Big Stupid also said, like, and with Nakamura, because he thinks that people would have cheered for Mahal to beat Cena in New York. No, that is not true.
I'd say it's possible because I know some people that are big wrestling fans that live in New York City that are going to be going there that are fans of Jinder Mahal.
Well, that's not the thing. He thinks that the hate for Cena is so bad. And most New York people... I think it's a combination
of that and the fact that there are some people in New York that like Jinder.
I think if you did Cena versus Mahal in New York, it would have been a Sheamus versus Roman Reigns in Philadelphia situation. Where even though they don't like that guy, they don't like the other guy. They hate that other guy having the title so much that they would cheer for that guy that they normally boo out of the stadium for winning.
Yeah.
I think that's what would have happened. And I think a lot of the smart wrestling fans, smarks if you want to call them, over the years have warmed up to Cena and acknowledged that he's done it. And like we've mentioned before on the podcast, I feel like the John Cena sucks like chants and sing along with his theme song is becoming more of a like thing of it sign of endearment or whatever
like
or whatever
the
like
you suck with Kurt Angle.
Yeah, like the you suck with Kurt Angle thing. So I don't think that would happen. I think if you did Cena versus Mahal in Brooklyn, Cena would get cheered in beating Mahal.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next segment, which is NXT. Which started off with Johnny Wrestling coming back, and when he first came out, they had DIY music and intro and everything.
Like, what?
And then it stopped, and then all Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling, and they had him versus Raul Mendoza, who was in the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yeah, I didn't even remember him.
Yeah, and that was I'm gonna say interesting match. It was good for what it was, but there were moments where you could tell there was miscommunication and not really working too well together.
It was kind of,
but there were a bunch of good spots in the match.
Yeah, it gave Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling a win, but it really wasn't anything special or spectacular. It was what it was.
And then after that, we had a promo of Asuka going on about her usual, "I am the champion. No one is ready for Asuka."
Yeah, and in this promo, Asuka really showed her English skills.
It's improved though.
It's improved, but like there were moments where if she put emphasis on certain words, it would have been a great promo. But she didn't because it's her second language.
Yeah.
So I was like Hideo Itami and Shinsuke Nakamura, when they speak English. Like, they might not have great English, but they know when to put the right emphasis on the right words.
Yeah, exactly. And then Ember Moon came out. They talked a little bit. Asuka slapped Ember. They brawled, and it ended with Ember hitting the Eclipse on Asuka.
And the crowd exploded for that.
Yeah, also because Asuka looked like she was dead for a second.
But it was a good promo. Overall, like, once Ember came out, it was a good promo.
Yeah.
Asuka, I think, like I said... I know English is her second language, but she's got to maybe get a little more lessons to figure out in certain promos, or at least have somebody coach her when they give her the script, be like, emphasize this word, emphasize this word, emphasize this word. So that way, because I swear to God, if you had her emphasize 1 or 2 or 3 words in that promo, it would have been perfect. Would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, it just felt a little awkward.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But she gets it done in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we had a little interview with Bobby Roode where they asked him about Roderick Strong and Drew McIntyre, and his basic thing was Roderick Strong tried playing the Bobby Roode lottery, and he lost. He didn't have the right numbers. I won. I showed that I was a better man.
It was trailer park trash also.
And then stated with Drew McIntyre that, yeah, he came here, he did that, and he's back, but I'm still going to beat him because I'm just better, and can I go? Is this over? And then Roderick Strong came out and tried to attack him. And he was asking Regal, what do I have to do? And Regal's like, there's nothing I could do. And he stormed off all angry.
He's like, the match is decided. So it's like, I thought the Bobby Roode, Roderick Strong stuff was done and over with. And like, this
I didn't. Especially with the way they ended that match now.
And this just, well, for now, like, I didn't know they were going to bring this back like before SummerSlam or before TakeOver. So I don't know if maybe they'll do Roderick Strong versus Bobby Roode in a like non-title match, like one of the NXTs leading up to SummerSlam. Maybe McIntyre causes a distraction that allows Roddy to win, that gives Roddy maybe a claim to challenging to the NXT title after this is over.
Yeah,
because I can't see them making this the NXT Championship match a triple threat match.
Yeah,
like I feel like Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Roode will be a better match than Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Roode versus Roderick Strong.
Yeah, I agree.
Nothing against Roderick Strong,
at least, yeah. But yeah, so that with that, and then we had Sonya Deville versus Jenna Van Bemel,
whose entrance music. I realized, by the way, Sonya Deville, her entrance music starts with lightsaber clash noises.
Nice.
Lightsaber noises.
Nice.
I was like folding laundry and I heard that sound and I perked up. I'm like, who the hell is this? And then she came out. I'm like, oh.
Hey, I like Sonya Deville.
She's all right.
I like her. This match wasn't that great, partially because she was obviously in there with someone who was even greener than she is.
Yeah, she's got work to do.
She's got the look. She's got the charisma. She's got some of the skills. She just has to refine it all more.
I don't know if she has the look and the charisma. She's got an interesting character.
The first time I saw her show up on screen when she was Daria Baronato, I just looked at her and said she could be a future NXT Women's Champion. Because she's got a unique look. Maybe. She's got the MMA background. I have a feeling that they could do good things with her once she develops a little bit more and she's in the ring with someone who can work better.
It all depends. I don't know.
She's already gotten better than when she
seems
started.
Flat and like she seems like she has no personality. All she has is her character, which is just a badass MMA chick, which is interesting, intriguing.
Well, I like this match because it was her
I haven't seen her back it up in the ring or like on the mic.
I like this match because of the fact that she was messing with her opponent, doing those rolls, being like, come on, here, you know what, try and hit me. I like that stuff. Shows a little bit of personality, not much. She hasn't done any promos yet, but what we see of her so far, I like, and I think if they keep building her, she could be NXT Women's Champion in, like, I'm going to say, the minimum amount of time before that would happen, at least a year, probably more than that, because she needs the work and she needs to put it in, but I could see her being a big star in the future. Maybe. And then after that,
Hideo Itami had an interview where they said that they had to cut the interview short and go to the ring, and he wasn't having that, so he went out and just rambled in Japanese for a while to get the crowd pissed off at him.
Get people to respect him.
And then we saw, I thought, apparently Cassius Ohno was injured. I don't know if it's legit or not.
I don't know, yeah.
But we might see, because I thought we were going to get Cassius Ohno versus Hideo Itami at Brooklyn. It is confirmed?
Not Cassius Ohno. It's confirmed. Hideo Itami versus Alistair Black at TakeOver Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Because they also had a thing at the end of the night. Apparently, Hideo Itami tried to jump Alistair Black when he was on his way to the parking lot.
So Hideo Itami came out and wouldn't leave the ring for Alistair Black's match. So Alistair Black hit him with Black Mass when he tried to attack him, and he missed. They tried to cover it up with the replay angles or with the editing angles as best they can, but that's the first time I've seen Alistair Black miss the Black Mass. He got Itami like here, his toes went across Itami's chest, but he slapped it like he hit it, and Itami sold it really well. Yeah, that's gonna be
a good
amazing match. That's going to be awesome.
Especially seeing the match that we just had that night of Alistair Black versus Kyle O'Reilly making his debut.
Yes, Kyle O'Reilly, after Bobby Fish debuted recently to face Alistair Black, who is O'Reilly's tag team partner. O'Reilly finally debuts. and they have a 3-segment long match.
It was good.
It was... The last third was really, really good. The second third was okay, and I thought the first third was really almost painfully slow, if you ask me.
Yeah, but by the end of the match, I was all in.
Yeah. And the end of that match was gross. Those were two guys who did not who were perfectly fine with stiffing the living crap out of one another.
Well, they both have a background in actual martial arts, so they're just like, you know what, let's use it.
Yeah.
Screw it.
Part of me in the beginning, I was like, I like when there's a little bit of MMA thrown into a wrestling match, but like they almost went full like round one of an MMA bout for the first like few minutes of that match, and I'm like, all right, guys, I'm here to watch a wrestling match, not a UFC fight.
Yeah. So
it's like, I understand teasing it, whatnot, a little bit, but I feel like they went a little too far.
Yeah, but overall, that match was good. I liked how Alistair Black went to pick him up with his foot like he normally does.
And he turned into like a standing ankle lock.
Yeah, I like that.
And he twisted his ankle pretty like, I was like, oh, that was a little gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the ending was great. The ending was great.
Yeah.
That kick to the back of the head, and then O'Reilly went for the spinning discus forearm and discused right into the Black Mass.
Yeah.
That got him flush.
Right in the face.
Yep.
Right
in the facciola.
It was really good, and I'm very excited to see what they do with Alistair Black from here.
Yes.
And that, actually, almost as a pro wrestling news, one thing I want to bring up, which is Joey Ryan debuted a very nice ring attire recently, and apparently the base top 3 guys of the UK division of the United Kingdom Championship in WWE got a U-porn plex. Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, and Trent Seven, all 3 of them at the same time.
Or not Mustache Mountain. I can't remember what their trio name is.
I don't remember the name of the trio, but it was pretty cool. And one thing it reminds me of is I'm excited for the Mae Young Classic because I'm excited to see Candice LeRae in the Mae Young Classic.
It'll be interesting.
Which will be
starting. You didn't mention what their tights were, though. You said they
had attire that had the pattern of the wallpaper in Disney's Haunted Mansion ride,
which was cool.
Nice color, purple and everything, really nice.
Mm-hmm. And then just before we transition, I just want to say, Stupid asked, do you think Cena even wrestles at SummerSlam this year now?
I don't know.
I feel like he has to because it's John Cena and it's SummerSlam. My only question is, I don't know who the hell he'll wrestle now.
Yeah, that's the thing. Maybe he'll wrestle Great Khali.
Maybe he'll wrestle Baron Corbin. Maybe he'll be Baron Corbin's opponent because Baron Corbin came out and attacked Shinsuke. What was it? On the network after SmackDown ended, and Cena made the save.
Yeah, it's possible. He might do something with someone over on Raw too. Who knows?
Maybe. We'll find out. So that is it for wrestling for the week. I will say I heard rumors before we move on to the last thing. I heard rumors that Adam Cole's contract with ROH apparently is up.
Really?
Yeah, and there's rumors that he may show up sometime soon on NXT, if not TakeOver. I don't know if that's confirmed or not, but somebody, I didn't do my due diligence as I should have to look it up, but somebody came into my chat this week while I was streaming and brought it up.
Well, if that's the case, then we'll find out by whether or not he's sitting in the audience at TakeOver, because that's what they usually do.
Yeah.
It's what they did with Bobby Roode, it's what they did with Drew McIntyre, it's what they've done with a lot of guys.
Adam Cole, baby. All right, and that's it. Yep. That's all I wanted to add for wrestling. Now we move on to the video games.
And the first thing we will bring up is PUBG.
PUBG!
Good game, but apparently a lot of people were not too happy with it because Brendan, Player Unknown Green, himself had said that while the game is in early access, we will not be doing any microtransactions that will only be in the full game. And then they did microtransactions, and people were like, but what? You said you wouldn't do that. And he was all like, but how are we supposed to test it, guys? And people were like, oh.
You're like,
yeah. So apparently it became like the biggest talk subject on their subreddit for PUBG. But they have to test it, guys.
I mean, the microtransactions is only like the clothing, right?
Yeah, it's only for a couple of packages that you can get for aesthetics.
Yeah, so I don't really see the point. I don't really care. I mean, I understand it's early access, but the fence that they're testing is fine. Like, I'm not going to spend money on it.
Yeah, it's not like some
So I
other
don't
games
care.
where they've come out with full-on DLC while the game's in early access.
Yeah, well, it's just microtransactions for the clothing, so it's
Yeah, no,
like
that's what I'm saying.
as long as it's not like, oh, buy this pack and you will jump out of the airplane with an M16, like then you're fine.
Yeah, exactly. If it's just for looks, whatever. You don't have to buy it if you don't want it. But
Yeah.
then they also came out with the new monthly update this week, which
yes.
included car horns, Xbox controller support, the MK14 EBR, which is a new battle rifle, new faces and hairstyles, and first-person only servers.
And I did get to play some first person, as Big Stupid is mentioning now. I got to play some first person games, a couple 2 days ago. Or no, yesterday. Yesterday was Thursday. Yesterday. That's when the update went live. And I actually think I might like first person PUBG better than third/first person PUBG.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it. I saw some people playing it in first person on zombies mode, and it looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah, like basically like it prevents people from camping as much and being able to ambush as much. So it's a lot more like you're not sure what to do, and you have a better chance of running into more aggressive players or players caught out in the open. And I've also found that I guess when I'm first person battling other people in first person, my first person shooter skills come out, and I guess I'm better because the first game I had, I got 4 kills. Mm-hmm. I only finished in the top 50 because I was running from one place to another, had to kill off 2 people, and then a sniper, like I was getting shot from 2 different, basically from the front and from the back, had to kill both those people, and then I got sniped by a third person. So that was just, the luck of PUBG. And then the second game, I did a lot of looting, and I made a stupid mistake because it was first person, and you don't have that third person perspective of like, just because you can't see somebody doesn't mean that person can't see a piece of you.
Yeah.
I was like in a boat, and I like moved behind the boat, and I thought my head was covered by like the fog lamp or whatever on the boat, but it was still sticking out, and a dude sniped me in the head with an SKS.
That stinks.
So like, I think I like it better. And aside from some awful lag because the servers are in beta, like the first couple minutes, the lag can get really bad. But once it gets to about like 50 players, it kind of levels out and gets back to normal.
One thing I noticed with
the lag in that early game is bad. But aside from that, I like first person PUBG, and I think if everybody who I normally play with prefers it as well, I might just stick with first person PUBG going forward once it's done in the beta servers.
And one thing that looks interesting about it that I really like is if you're in first person, a lot of people when they're playing the game, they're going back and forth between third person, first person, third person, first person. If you're stuck in the first person, I notice a lot of the people are able to focus more, and they're not constantly going back and forth and getting stuck in awkward situations. Like you're in third person, and then someone starts shooting at you, and then you try to turn and try to get into first person. If you're already in first person, it makes it seem like it's smoother.
Also, and I'm guilty of this too, you can't, like I said, you can't really camp and ambush as much. You have to, and if you want to, you have to rely on your sense of hearing and being able to hear people's footsteps more than just relying on the screen and moving the camera around and stuff like that. So I like it. It looks thumbs up for FPS PUBG.
Yeah, it looks really good. And after that we have our weekly Overwatch news. They just announced this week that summer games are returning next week. They're
coming back.
People have been saying that it might be potentially coming back, and they have officially confirmed it.
I think they said at the end of year 1 they were gonna do summer games as the first event, and they were gonna bring it back. We just didn't know when it was happening.
Yeah.
Or the details.
And I am super excited about it. They got a bunch of changes to the game. One of the things I'm really excited for is apparently storyline-wise in the game, this year it's not taking place in Rio, which while the Rio Arena will be one of the places you can play, it is actually in Sydney, the games this year.
Yeah, apparently the Overwatch games is an annual thing, unlike the actual Olympic Summer Games that it's inspired from. Which, I mean, makes sense because, 4 years from now, maybe we'll still be playing Overwatch, and Overwatch 2 might not be out, but after that, another 8 years, and it's do you really want to go 4 years without an event in the summer?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm super excited for it because not only is it in Australia, but that's where one of my favorite characters to play as, Junkrat, is from, and apparently they've got a really nice legendary skin coming out for him.
Yeah,
and I
Jeff
personally,
Kaplan was talking it up.
Yeah, I personally haven't really been a fan of Junkrat skins, so I'm hoping that this one is really good, and I'm looking to try and get it. I got the credits for it, and if I don't win it by the end of the event, I'm definitely going to buy it. Which, speaking of the skins, they've also got a new Mercy skin, which Jeff Kaplan has said is his favorite skin that they've ever made. Which is interesting, and that they've got a bunch of other extra cosmetic stuff saying some silly things will be in there.
Okay.
And he also revealed that they're going to be bringing back all the skins and everything from last year's event, and instead of it being at the price like it normally is an event, they're discounting it to regular prices. So the legendary skins, instead of it costing $3,000 like it normally would in an event, each legendary skin is only going to cost $1,000. So if you didn't get, let's say, the Soccer Lucio, or the Runner Tracer, or the weightlifter Zarya, which are all legendary.
Or Merca McCree.
Yeah, the legendary ones, instead of being 3,000, you only have to pay 1,000 coins. I forget the exact rate, but I know like the McCree one, I believe was not legendary, but was epic level, and the price of that is going to be reduced. All the skins are going to be cheaper to get,
which is good. Well, all the old skins,
all the old
last
skins
year, all the ones that are being introduced this year will still be the same like event pricing.
Yes,
via coins, which is cool because I hope that this is something that they will continue to do for other events going forward, because that's cool, because that means you can still get the skins that you missed out on from previous events.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. And some other things they've announced, they're going to be doing some tweaks to Lucio Ball.
Yep.
Where, as Jeff Kaplan described it, you used to be able to boop other players, where you'd be able to boop goalies out of the way to get a goal. You can't do that to other players anymore. You'll still have the ability with the ball, but you won't be able to do that to other players, which upsets me a little bit. I didn't really do the whole thing with the goalie that much, but I did like if, you see someone's about to take a shot, you could try and hit them away before they could get the shot, maybe skew it or whatever.
To be fair, they're ripping off Rocket League, and you kind of do that with Rocket League. But if you look at the full-on origins, it's back to football, aka soccer, and that's a non-contact sport.
Yeah.
So technically, it makes sense to not be doing the Overwatch equivalent of body checking an opponent.
Yeah, true. But then they also are changing up Lucio's ultimate. Where in last year it was when you used it, it would pull the ball directly to you, and a lot of people would use it to get goals. I honestly I did that last year, but the main thing I liked about it, which is why I'm upset that they've changed it, is if someone shoots and they're about to make a goal and you're on a team where someone's being a jackass and there's no goalie, you could use that ability and stop the goal from happening. Just pull the ball away.
Just gotta play better defense then.
True. But yeah, they're going to be making him faster and be able to hit harder and jump higher and stuff like that.
New Lucio is basically just that all of his abilities will be amped up in the ultimate.
So there. One last bit of news about the Summer Games is they're also going to be doing a competitive version of Lucio Ball as well. So like how you've got the competitive mode for the regular game.
With leaderboards too,
Yeah, they're going to have a competitive mode of Lucio Ball, which I always enjoyed Lucio Ball. I was pretty good at it. I'm going to be excited to try that out.
Yeah, I'll try it. I don't know if I'm going to get hardcore with it, but it's interesting.
Which one thing I will suggest to you, this starts on August 8th and goes on until, I believe it's August 28th. So we will be away for a good amount of it. I'm bringing my Vita. Because I've done it before. You're able to play, even on the plane, you'll be able to connect to your PS4 and play the game.
Maybe.
So I know I'm going to be playing some of this on my trip if I can't sleep at night, or at least on the plane to and from. I'm going to be doing my best to play this.
I may just get my fill in. Maybe I'll do a stream or two before the vacation happens. I'll just try to get my fill in that way.
There you go. But yeah, I'm very excited for it. I'm very excited for the skins. I'm very excited for what they've got for Junkrat and a bunch of other stuff. So we'll just have to wait to see. I know they said that they've got some surprises, so we'll probably find out more about that next week. And then after that, we've got news for a game I have not played in a while.
I played it recently, but I haven't played it normally or more than once in like 3 or 4 years, I think.
Yeah, I have not played this game in literally years. But Guild Wars 2 has a new expansion, and by the description of it, it kind of makes me want to play it if I, actually had a computer that worked and was able to play it. Which is, the game is going back to the Crystal Desert in the expansion called Path of Fire. Apparently we might see a little bit of Alona, but the general story of it is Balthazar, the god of war and fire,
Mm-hmm.
has come down to Tyria, to the Crystal Desert, and is looking for, what is it, Kralkatorrik?
Yeah, the
whatever.
Crystal Dragon.
Yeah, the great crystal dragon, the elder dragon, and is looking to kill him. And apparently, if he does that, it could have a huge catastrophic effect. So the point of the story is to try and stop him from doing that.
I think he wants to kill the Elder Dragon because he's pissed off the Elder Dragons are playing essentially kind of gods, and I think their god powers have kind of like been decreased over the years.
Yeah.
So he wants to like achieve this new level of power by killing an Elder Dragon, I think absorbing its power or something like that. And for those of you who don't know, Kralkatorrik is the dragon that the guild, Destiny's Edge, in the game. They're NPCs. They play a role in the main storyline. There was a book about them.
Yeah,
in that book, Kralkatorrik is the Elder Dragon that they try to defeat and fail, which causes the death of one of their members and them fracturing and going off to their own factions and races, which your character then in the main story of Guild Wars 2, you have to go to them and bring them all back together.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting, especially if they keep Destiny's Edge around, because then they'll have a chance of redemption to kill Kralkatorrik while also stopping Balthazar.
Yeah. This is the second expansion they've released for the game. The first one was called Heart of Thorns. I know that one was mostly in the Maguma jungle. The expansion Path of Fire is going to be priced at $29.99 and released on September 22nd. But they're also going to be having a special deal where you could buy both that and Heart of Thorns at the same time for $49.99. So like a $10 discount on it.
Cool deal.
Which, once again, if I had a computer that could work it, I'd actually be mildly interested in trying out. But
I'm interested, but I dropped into Guild Wars 2 a couple weeks ago or a month or two ago to do the final dungeon and beat Zaitan, the Elder Dragon. And, like, I feel like it's almost kind of... I don't know if I need to get used to the controls or whatever, if I've just been out of MMOs, like traditional MMOs like that for a while, but it, like... Based on games today, it just felt almost antiquated.
Yeah, but I mean, old. Personally, I'm more interested in it because I was always invested in the story of Guild Wars. I really liked it.
We were all about the Guild Wars and the Guild Wars 2 back in the day.
I was a huge fan of Nightfall, the expansion they had that brought you to Elona.
Yeah.
With the sun spears and all that.
Well, we'll see if
you'll see a little bit of that in this.
Is it confirmed that we will see a little bit of Elona? Because the Crystal Desert was in the original Guild Wars, but it was the Northern Crystal Desert that didn't have any part of Elona.
They mentioned it on the Guild Wars Facebook page. That's how I knew about that. They don't mention it in the
story,
the article here.
So maybe they're teasing that the next expansion might involve Elona, and after this one, and we'll find out what happened to Elona after the Elder Dragons rose.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I think Kralkatorrik is the
Crystal.
Well, no, I know he's a Crystal Dragon, but I think he might be the final Elder Dragon left in Tyria because Zaitan was killed, and then there was one in the Maguma jungle through Heart of Thorns that I believe you killed through Heart of Thorns. So,
I can't remember the name of it,
and I can't remember if you killed the Ice Elder Dragon or not. So
I can't remember its name. I know it starts with a J.
Yeah.
But then there's also what?
Jormag.
Jormag, yeah. But then there's also what? Primordus or something like
Primordius,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, the fire one. And then I remember, I think I remember correctly, there was some kind of lore that there might also be a deep sea, like, water one.
Yeah.
That is the reason why they lost contact with the...
Cantha.
With Cantha, yeah.
Yeah.
So they might do another expansion looking into that.
Yeah, because... As much as I enjoy Guild Wars 2, one of the big things that these expansions have not caused me to come back is the fact that as an original Guild Wars fan, I want to see what happened to Cantha. I want to see what happened to Elona. And it's like, okay, cool, you're doing the Crystal Desert, cool, you're doing the Maguma Jungle, but like, those were, like, the Crystal Desert itself was not the most, interesting part of the original Guild Wars. Like, I kind of was like, just wanted to get through that stuff and get out.
And there was some
and the Maguma Jungle we had parts of in the original Guild Wars 2 storyline. They just expanded upon it. So I'm like, we're not really seeing a ton new or a ton interesting. So I want to see, and like we had these other continents in the original Guild Wars, and I just don't. I want to know what the hell happened to them.
Yeah, let me see if I can bring it up because, like I said, I'm pretty sure I saw on the actual Facebook page of Guild Wars 2 that they mentioned that you would see Elona, which is from no, about that.
All right. Well, while you look at that, I will bring up our last final story of the day from video gaming, and that is that pre-orders of the SNES Classic will be reopening at the end of the month, as stated by Nintendo, who have also claimed that they will be sending a large amount of extra consoles to stores on launch day in order to try and make it as easy as possible for people to get a hold of the console. Basically, Nintendo is doing, I believe, their best to not end up with an NES Classic situation again.
Yeah, they're doing their best not to deal with that. That's why they're opening up more, and they're trying to have a bunch more stuff in, like a bunch more consoles ready on hand.
Yeah. And this was also in response to the news story we did, I think it was a week or 2 weeks ago, about the Walmart pre-orders that got canceled because they accidentally opened them back up.
Yeah, a lot of people were upset about that.
So this will allow for more people to pre-order them. I might try to pre-order and get a hold on them myself. And it will mean that you might actually have a chance, might be a slim chance, of getting one in a store if you didn't pre-order it.
Mm-hmm.
Like with the NES Classic, it was basically, if you didn't pre-order it, then you better be waiting outside at Toys R Us at 4 or 5 in the morning and waiting for them to open at 6.
And then you still might not
And then
get
you
it.
still didn't have a complete guarantee that you were going to get it.
All right, so quick update. Soon you'll train mounts to help you explore in all new ways. That's one thing I forgot to mention.
This is back to the Guild Wars 2 story, by the way.
They're adding mounts to Guild Wars 2 in the expansion. Unlock 9 new elite specializations to customize your playstyle, and discover the vast lands of the Crystal Desert and Elona.
And Elona?
Yep.
So does that mean, so that doesn't just say parts of Elona?
Mm-hmm.
So we might get all of Elona.
Yep. An epic chapter in Guild Wars 2 story awaits you.
Now
Hunt
I'm intrigued.
down the rogue god Balthazar and put a stop to his campaign against the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, he's a rogue god. So basically, it's kind of like killing Abaddon in the original Guild Wars, in the Guild Wars Nightfall.
Which is one thing.
Which is kind of funny, because it's like, hey, we're bringing Elona back, and guess what? When you go to Elona, you got to kill another rogue god.
Yeah. I wonder if you'll have to kill him and Krakatorp.
It's upsetting that you have to kill. They have to defeat. I hope you defeat, but don't kill Balthazar, because like Balthazar was one of my favorite gods in Guild Wars 1.
Yeah, let's see. There was him. There was Grenth.
Dwayna, Lysa or Lissa.
Yeah, Lissa.
And then there was one more who I'm forgetting. I know
Cormyr
was the 6th. Cormyr was the 6th.
After Abaddon, yeah.
After Abaddon took Abaddon's place, and I can't remember who
because Balthazar was god of war and fire. Grenth was god of
the death. He was
ice
a necromancer god.
Alyssa. Or Lissa was the god of mesmers, basically, like illusion magic and stuff. Mm-hmm. Dwayna was life and healing, and then I can't remember the name, but I know the other one was of basically nature, and it was basically the ranger god.
I'm gonna find that out right now before we go off the air. Melandra. Melandra was a goddess of nature, earth, and growth. This is what Wikipedia says. For those of you who are interested in Guild Wars 2 and want to know about all the gods, this is the official descriptions. Dwayna, well, I don't know what the source is, but this is the official description from the Guild Wars 2 site. Dwayna, the goddess of healing, air, warmth, and life. Balthazar, who you'll be battling in the expansion, is the god of war, fire, and courage. Melandru is the goddess of nature, earth, and growth. Lysa, twin goddesses of beauty, water, and illusion. Individually, they are Lys and Ilya. And then Grenth, god of darkness, death, and ice.
Yeah, I'm reading up more about the story of... it says right here, uncover the secrets of Tyrion's history and discover the fate of the Elonian people after years of silence. So you will definitely be finding out more about that, and it seems like the basic idea of it is, I guess, maybe in Heart of Thorns, Balthazar was involved, because they state in the description of this new expansion that the heroes from Guild Wars 2 have put a stop to his attempts at destroying the Elder Dragons before, and that he's now raised an army and terrorizing and tearing through the Crystal Desert, and just basically being completely catastrophic, not giving two craps about anything, and just destroying whatever's in his path to achieve his quest. Kind of like you're trying to stop him.
Kind of like I helped you ages and ages ago, and you worshiped me, and now I'm trying to do this, and you're stopping me. How dare you? Bad children.
Yeah,
Bad.
Basically.
Also, there was the sixth god in the Guild Wars pantheon is Cormier, who
Used to be
was
Abaddon, God of Secrets.
Yeah, used to be Abaddon, but then he went rogue. He disappeared, then he came back, went rogue, and basically the story of Nightfall was you leading the Sun Spears to defeat him. The leader of the Sun Spears was Cormier, and helping Cormier defeat Abaddon, she ascended and became a goddess in Abaddon, taking Abaddon's place. She is the goddess of order, spirit, and truth.
Mm-hmm.
And with a little mythology lesson, or religion lesson, I guess, in terms of Guild Wars 2, we end today's podcast, this week's podcast. Again, we will be back next week. Probably be a 7 or maybe hopefully 7 o'clock start time to the stream next week. That'll have our SummerSlam predictions. Maybe we won't do a week in review then. Maybe we'll just stick with because it's gonna be so late. We might stick with just some SummerSlam predictions and some video game news. So that's what we got next week. And then we're gonna be taking the 2-week hiatus. As we'll be on vacation. We'll have some sort of maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 at most mini-sodes going up, just talking about stuff, maybe doing a SummerSlam reactions type thing. We'll do an official SummerSlam reactions when we get back, maybe like a little quick hot take or whatever. Mm-hmm. Do not forget, we are live on Twitch every time we have an episode. It then lives on demand on Twitch, and then it also goes over to my YouTube channel. My Twitch channel is twitch.tv/L_Murpho. That's where we do the live stream. Mm-hmm. We also, YouTube is youtube.com/LMurphoReal. You can catch us as well in audio form on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play, as well as a bunch of other places where podcasts can be found.
Don't forget
to search Super Grapple Bros.
Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. Helps with the algorithms.
Yes, and like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Do not forget to comment. Do not forget, if you're here on Twitch, if you're watching, we would encourage you guys to engage in the chat, so that way we can interact with people.
Much like right back here.
And also, if you're the shy type, or you don't get a chance to leave a comment or join in the chat on the live streams, make sure to email us any comments, suggestions, or questions, or topics of discussion at Super Grapple Bros. That is supergrapplebros@gmail.com. And I believe that is all the stuff that we could potentially pimp out.
Yeah, I think that's all the housekeeping stuff.
Yep, so that's it. Just general channel stuff and things for me. My new job is starting Monday. My final YouTube video that I have shot is going up that day. I will be clipping off finishing up FIFA 17 The Journey, which I live streamed yesterday. That should be going up hopefully on Tuesday. And then that'll pretty much be it for me on YouTube. You'll just be getting Super Grapple Bros, and then maybe some clipped off live streams. It all depends on how much time I get on, given that I will now have a full-time job that's a long commute away. So, but do not worry, I'm still going to get Super Grapple Bros when we shoot it onto the YouTube channel.
There you go.
And with all that, I have been Murpho.
I have been DMurph.
And this has been episode 18 of Super Grapple Bros.
Yep.
Till we see you guys next week. Take care. Deuces.
Shut up and sit down.